Welcome to the podcast. Look, for better or worse, it is tennis and cricket season now. And as I was watching the news last night, Spider, I was informed by the news that Australia's draw in the ATP Cup for tennis is a very, very tough one, they say. I don't agree. I think Gallipoli, Korea and Vietnam were tough draws. I don't think playing tennis for one game in a row than having a lemon barley is a tough draw myself.
Oh, come on. You know what? Australian Open.
Come on.
Okay, how much money's up for grabs at the Australian Open this year?
$7 billion.
14 million.
Good God.
That is what the prize money is at the Australian Open this year. $14 million.
You'd be good at the net in a doubles match. How did you go at tennis when you were a young fella?
Nah, I actually wish I played a little bit. I never really played. It's one of those games that I actually enjoy watching. I've been to the Australian Open a few times. I used to always go when I was in Melbourne. And, gee, when you go there live, and it's like when you watch any professional athlete at their peak, watching it live, you really appreciate it. You know, even the sprinters, the high jumpers, the Olympians, you think, oh, yeah, they're swimming okay. But you swim along a side next to like an Ian Thorpe, or I was fortunate enough to a couple of sessions with Michael Klim when he had a pool down in Moorabbin where we used to train, and you think you swim all right. And then these guys come in, or girls, and they just absolutely smoke you. So that's, I used to love watching the tennis and how they can put that tennis ball just millimetres inside the court, hitting it above the net by millimetres and knowing exactly where it's going to land, how it's going to go. It's unbelievable.
It's
amazing. I love watching it.
You're quite right. I used to swim alongside Sam Riley, and she was breaststroking and I was freestroking. I couldn't get anywhere near her. Also, cricket season. She kicks off today, the Ashes. I'm so excited about this. And I don't know if you saw last night, but in bronze, they have paid tribute to the great Australian captain, Alan Border. And I don't know about you, but I look at it, I never think these statues look like the person.
No.
This statue looks like Wally Lewis, but it's branded Alan Border.
Okay.
Wally Lewis's statue looks like I think it's Mal Meninga, and so I think whoever is next going to get a statue is going to look like Alan Border. I think that's how it works.
Why don't they just put stats there and say, name this statue?
There you go.
Okay, if they had a Flan statue anywhere, right?
It'd look like George Clooney.
No.
Yours would look like George Clooney.
Yours.
Where would you put it? Because yours would be at the Canadian Bay Yacht Club in Mount Isa.
I'd like mine to be outside the 4 and 20 factory because I look like a dropped pie.
Okay. And for me, if I could be the symbol on top of the VB factory, I would be or the home of the dim sim.
Yeah, I was going to say Wing Hong. You're off. There's the statue of the big spider outside Wing Hong Foods. And so there should be. You earned it, son. You have earned it. But look, I can't wait for the Ashes today. This is an extraordinary. They're talking about a little bit of rain, so the odds are there. I think there's a good $5 bet on the draw, as a matter of fact. But keep your eyes out. James Anderson is gone. He's an extraordinary wicket taker for England. And we've heard from Gus Warland, and we're going to speak to him later on in this podcast about when and how they might use the secret weapon that is James Anderson and where he will be deployed. And having heard it, I'm a bit worried, actually. I was glad to hear he was out.
You're able to hear it, and we haven't even played it yet.
No, well, it's in the can, as
You're
they say.
You're very good, aren't you?
I sense what he's going to say.
Okay.
Yeah. You know what? Let's go to it now. On the Triple M commentary team, Gus Warland, as we take on the 2021-2022 Vodafone Ashes series. Download the Listener app and have a listen to the cricket on Triple M. Here's Gus Warland. Gus, who's going to win the toss? And if you were the skipper and you'd won that toss, would you bat or would you bowl?
Yeah, I think 99% of the time you just bat, and the other time you think about it, then you bat. So I think batting is the way to go, and just sort of, scoreboard pressure and all that sort of stuff. But, yeah, I must admit, you look at the pitch there and you can't quite work it out whether it's the outfield or the actual pitch. But they'll clip that this morning. They would have done some work the last 24 hours. And, yeah, runs on the board is absolutely key. But I think the Poms will probably bowl, so probably don't even need to toss. Patton and Joe can just say, what do you reckon, mate? And I'll bat, you bowl, and let's get on with it.
Yeah, and how do you see the Jimmy Anderson thing not being part of this English team for the first test and being rested for later on in the series? One of the things about touring Australia is it's tough, and the fast bowlers do break down, and Jimmy Anderson's obviously struggled to get fit for game one. Does that help us?
Oh, for sure, but it's not going to help us for game two, which is the one that he's sort of been brought out here for, because he turns it sideways, with the pink ball and so forth. So I spoke to Nathan Lyon yesterday. They assumed that he wasn't going to play the first test match. Okay. So that was news to everyone else. So they were just getting him ready for test number 2, and they're looking like the 5th test is going to be a day-nighter as well, either at Sydney or Melbourne. So, you know, they could have 2 pink ball test matches where Jimmy Anderson could play only those 2 tests and make a huge difference for him, because he's class, but he's old, you know, and at the end of the day, his body does let him down, and he's got a calf injury, and that's always an old man's injury. You know, once your calves go, you're toast.
Absolutely. hey, Gus, I've got to ask you, look, a lot of us love our cricket. For those people who don't love the cricket but hear the Ashes, and we know that, Triple M, you can hear, on the Listener app, but what is the rivalry, what's it like between the Poms and the Aussies out there?
Oh, look, it all starts pretty much all the way back to the 1800s. The first time that they played it. They've played it over 70 times now. It's our greatest rivalry in all sport, but especially in cricket. They've always sort of had the empire and thought that they were above us and we were the convicts and that sort of stuff. But we've given it to them lately. And, we've had some wonderful cricket teams, as you guys would know, over the last 20-odd years. But probably now you could say that both teams are a little bit flawed. Both teams have got world-class players. But at the end of the day, anyone can win this test series. You just shave it with Australia because it's in Australian conditions. But, at the end of the day, it's going to be a really close one. So if people are starting to get interested in cricket by watching the T20s and the Big Bash and that sort of stuff, just give it a go. Maybe don't sit there all day, but just understand that it's a different type of format. But if you're a cricket lover like us, it's the greatest format because it is the perfect test. It changes over a long period of time, and it's mind as well as physical, as well as all the other stuff that goes with the great game.
Yeah, it is. It's a long 5 days, as you say, for the players, as in like the mental challenge. But the good mental challenge, and I love the Barmy Army. We remember this years ago. Have a listen. Oh, we love it. But they've got one for Timmy Payne today. You must be looking forward to that as a commentator.
Yeah, well, it'll come early too, you'd imagine. I spent a lot of time with these guys and, they're great. They just love the game and they take the mickey and they don't ever want to come across as anything but just having a lot of fun. But yeah, Tim Payne's going to get it this morning. And Mitchell Johnson, that one there, the bowling is shite one. He came back the next series and absolutely wiped him. And when he walked down to the Barmy Army at fine leg, they all stood up and applauded. He took it on the chin. Yep. Brett Lee was the same. You got to give it back, and they love it. They just don't like blokes who ignore them, because at the end of the day, they're just trying to make the game a bit more enjoyable for a long day in the sun.
Absolutely. Next year, he knocked all of their heads off. Gus Warland, part of the Triple M cricket commentary team for the 2021-2022 Vodafone Ashes series. Listen to it on the Listener app on Triple M. Gus, thank you so much for your time, mate.
That's a pleasure, guys. Enjoy your Christmas and enjoy the cricket. See you later.
So, on a current affair last night, was there a blow-up in Bowral, of all places, the birthplace of Don Bradman.
And he's got a statue there too.
Yeah, he does. Who does it look like?
Ricky Ponting.
There you go. And they never look like them.
When he was kicked out of the bourbon and beefsteak.
Yeah. With 2 different coloured eyes, that's right. Now I remember. One of his eyes looked like a panda and the other looked like Ricky Ponting. What a big night that was. I wish I'd been on it. Look, we're going to talk now about bins and tips. In Bowral, where Don Bradman's from, there's a privately owned bin, and it's so stinky that the local residents are being hospitalised by the smell.
Oh, the tip.
Here, have a listen to this crackerjack of a local.
I walk up 1 metre and then I didn't have breakfast. I go like that, first thing in the morning. And next thing that I see, my wife comes out here. She's in the driveway and the poor girl is going red. She's starting to spew her guts out down there. Like that.
We'll revisit that, I'm sure. Here's a chat about tips. We're talking tips now. I grew up in Canberra, Spider, down in Hastings in Victoria.
Both of them are tips.
Oh, mate, that's places they are pretty much tips. But we used to love going to the tip. The tip was a completely different experience when I was a kid. You'd turn up there with a trailer full of stuff and you'd leave with more stuff than you brought. We were just released when we get to the tip tab. We go and have a look for some good stuff.
Absolutely. I remember Dad, you'd reverse the trailer up and he gets rid of all our junk, and myself and my sisters will be 100 metres up the hill looking for stuff, just rubbishing through with all the bin chickens and the seagulls. So I've been a human bin chicken ourselves, looking for anything we can.
Absolutely. And the reason we were talking tips was on a current affair last night. They were talking about a tip in a place called Barrel, which is where Don Bradman grew up. And they've got a privately owned tip there, and it's right near all of these homes. And they reckon the stink from the tip is so bad, it's putting people into hospital. Like they're coming out their front door. Have a listen to this little quote from a local who reckons it's so bad they ended up in hospital.
I walk out 1 meter and then I didn't have breakfast. I go first thing in the morning. And next thing that I see, my wife comes out here. She's in the driveway and the poor girl is going red. She's starting to spew her guts out down there.
Just if you missed what he did.
Did you have one in Bexhill, Rod? Did you have the tip?
Our tip was at Clunes, which was a nearby place. You had
Very
to
nice.
go for a trip, pack up the trailer and take all the rubbish out there. But yeah, worlds of fun there at the tip.
Rodney?
All that red dirt.
Rodney, what would you look for? What was your treasure in the tip? Because when we were kids, it was bottle tops because you could make a lager phone out of them. And my mum was teaching us to go and get all the bottle tops out of the tip. But she did it when she was a kid, and she didn't tell us this until after we did it. She said she got bitten by a brown snake and taken to hospital.
Really?
So what was the real treasure at Clunes tip?
Anything that was above our income bracket, which wasn't very much as far as the toys were concerned.
Hey, look, Mum, I got a piece of wood.
I got a $6 million man now, Mum. He's missing an arm, but look at him go.
He's a $4.5 million man, yeah. Look, here, there's a blow-up at the moment about things you should not do when you live in close proximity to other people. Annoying neighbours' habits. We're talking about annoying neighbour habits, things that they do, and I just can't...
Like a trait.
Yeah.
Your
What do they
worst
do?
trait as a neighbour. This is kind of a list that we want to put together, making sure that you don't do this because you've got a neighbour. Because our neighbours do it.
Yeah, there's big chat online at the moment about the things that neighbours do that drive you crazy. Well, I've got one, and it's a bit delicate. Like, I drove home a couple of days ago from work, and I get home, and I go to park in my driveway, and my neighbour's dog
Oh, no.
is doing his business right in the middle of my driveway.
See, no. I couldn't do it. And you know the dog by name?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm sitting there thinking, do you honk? Like, will that make things worse, if you know what I mean, if he takes off, like, in the middle of this? Like, what will I end up having to deal with?
So what, you just sat there and watched?
Oh, I didn't watch. No, that made me feel a bit sick, actually. No, but as it flew off the shovel and back over his fence.
Absolutely. Yeah, you can do that. You can chuck your dog poo back over the fence.
What about at the Dome up at Sanctuary Cove?
You know,
are there traits that drive you nuts
It's
up
quite
there?
funny. There's one going to court at the moment for
hello.
wind chimes.
Serious?
Oh.
Yeah. Neighbours are whinging about wind chimes, and like they are annoying.
Well,
Like,
these kind of wind chimes.
yeah.
It's terrible. That is so bad.
How bad is wind chimes? And they put them out the back where they can't even hear them when they're inside.
Yeah.
So that is annoying
That's
because they
huge
normally
noise.
come over towards your outdoor area. You know the one for me that I absolutely hate, and as a trait, I think every neighbour should do it. And you might not get along with your neighbour, that's fair enough, who cares, is half doing the front lawn. If you're doing your nature strip, you've got to do the neighbours to their driveway.
Yeah, every time?
Absolutely, every time. You can't have that middle bit where yours is perfect and theirs is a little bit longer. You've got to go from driveway to driveway no matter what. That's my number one rule is you've got to, like, who cares? Even if you don't talk to them, you can at least do that. It makes the whole place look so much better.
Yeah.
Yet people don't like doing it.
We've got that going on in our job. I do it once a year for my neighbour Gary next to me. I'll go and do his lawn out the front, and it's coming up soon, Gary. But across the road, there's one neighbour who truly believes that the soil needs longer grass, and right next to them is the most beautiful manicured lawn you have ever seen. It's like the border of India and Pakistan. There's no conversation there.
What about your old man with the jazz music? Does he get into trouble for playing that too loud?
Well,
See,
he's warned us we're going down there for Christmas, and he said there'll be jazz playing the whole time, and he's English.
Well,
so I was like,
that
Dad,
might be,
really?
That might be easier to put up with than, say, what my neighbours have to put up, because I've got a job myself in here. My boy and his music, he's always playing. And this is probably what they would hear if you're living anywhere within, say, 2 kilometres of my house.
Okay.
Oh, that's good. It is. Hey, if you like Nirvana, we're great to live near.
how the prices in Mudra Bar gone up?
Oh,
with that playing.
Everywhere except our street. Well, that's that. Thank you for listening to the podcast. We appreciate it. If you want to catch the show, it's on weekdays from 5 a.m. on 92.5 FM, the Gold Coast's Triple M.
And before we go, Flan, quick tip for the Ashes. If you had $10, where would you be putting it?
On the first match or the series?
No, the first match.
First match is Australia in Brisbane, 100%.
Okay, and
then the draw.
I'm putting it on head to make the most runs.
Yeah, that's a good bit. He's really been in good form. Enjoy your cricket on Triple M. Download that listener app.
The Department of Veterans Affairs is so innovative, it not only improves the lives of veterans, it transforms the lives of healthcare professionals who serve them with access to the latest technologies and remarkable benefits. Transform your future at vacareers.va.gov.